Hey, hello. My name is Ella May. I help personal brands and small businesses learn exactly what to do to grow their Instagram and how to turn it into a lead generation system. When I first started working with Deidre, I was noticing there was a couple really consistent factors happening in my life. For one, my income was always very up and down. I was having really good months and I would get on, the money high. And then I was having 2 or 3 really slow months. And I really wanted to learn how to make that more consistent. I was also struggling quite a bit with my clarity around my business. I'd use words like, I'm just not 100% sure what the next step is, or I'm not 100% sure where this is going, or whatever. So there was this lack of clarity, I guess it would be, which makes it really hard to take that next step forward and to put yourself out there when you're a little bit muddled on your vision, right? Originally, actually, I came to Deidre for business reasons, right? Like I really wanted to get my business going. I think that's why most entrepreneurs seek out any help, is we usually want help in our business. We want to make more money. We want to have a better team. We want to have a better product, whatever it might be, right? What I discovered was there was some pretty interesting patterns that were creating all of these situations that had nothing to do with business, which I think is, what usually happens. So the first thing we uncovered was specifically around money. Now, this was really interesting. Deidre took me through a really unique process. I've worked with a lot of coaches, you guys. I am an avid learner. I've probably been in over 50 group coaching programs. I've always worked with coaches one-on-one, even before I had my own business. And I have never been through a process like this. It was super interesting. And we actually uncovered where a lot of these patterns came from when it came to the excess and the deprivation of money in my life. After doing that process, I have never been more clear on exactly what I needed to do in terms of my personal habits to make sure that my financial situation was going to be more stable. And it was a really amazing clearing process where I was able to really identify where these patterns came from and why they were so ingrained in me. Just an update, since working with Deidre, I've actually upped my monthly revenue. So my monthly recurring revenue, which we all know is like, that's the key, my monthly recurring revenue by about 150%. And I'm so much more clear on exactly, like, if, for example, it's kind of a slow month and I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, okay, cool. Let's do some things to bring in more revenue, whatever. I'm clear on exactly what that is. There's no guessing game. There's no like, okay, maybe we'll promote this, or maybe we'll partner with this person, or maybe we'll start up a program or whatever. Like I'm 100% clear. So I'm really grateful to her for that. Although the majority of the shifts were personal and internal, like we were really identifying patterns, all this stuff. She also is a crazy smart business strategist. She gave me a clear plan to make 250K per year. And I mean, this is like a clear and easy plan. It's not something I don't need to create anything super, out there. It's not like I need to set up a huge funnel or a huge new sales system or revamp or whatever. It was just like, hey, here's what you have going on. Here's how we can switch it around. And here's how we can really optimize it revenue wise. She has a really great eye for this stuff. So as you work with her and you kind of move through some of the patterns which are necessary to shift for you to hit your goals, you'll notice that she's able to drop these little nuggets. And they're like, it's like 5 minutes of your call. It's like these little things that you're like, oh my gosh, if I just implemented that, I would save myself so much time, or I'd be able to create so much more revenue or whatever. So really, really cool working with her in that way. And she also, like, as an established entrepreneur, she has a lot of experience being around other entrepreneurs and learning what works, right? So there was little times in my programs where I'd be like, oh, I really want this academy to fill up, or I really want whatever. And she'd be like, oh, you know what? Like so-and-so did this, or I did this with my last one. It worked amazing. One of her ideas actually brought me in, I think in 1 week, about $5,000 of revenue, just by switching around the way that I was bringing people into one of my academies. And that's more than I normally do in a week. So I was really, really impressed. And it was one of those things that I was like, oh my God, that's so smart. Like, I don't know why I didn't see that. But she just has this way of, she's very intuitive. And intuitive can sometimes be taken as like a bit of a wishy-washy term. However, she's really able to see where you're struggling, where you need transformation, and where you need strategy, which is really different, right? Sometimes we need transformation, like for me with some of my money issues, that required a fair amount of transformation. However, sometimes we just need strategy. Sometimes we have everything in place, but we just need to like move that around or implement like this one little thing, and things get rolling and they get going really good. So I was really, really impressed with her ability to differentiate between that and also to go between the two really seamlessly. There's not many coaches out there that, or many consultants or, whatever, that can hit the personal, transformational, somewhat like behavior, spiritual side, if that resonates with you, and also hit the business strategy implementation side very seamlessly, like in the same 15 minutes. And she manages to hit that balance really, really nicely. I would highly recommend working with her. She is by far one of the, like, she's probably the most transformational coach I worked with. And I mean, I only had the chance to work with her for 3 months. However, it's something I'm going to do again in the future and do a bit more of a long-term partnership, mainly because the shifts that come from it are so massive. And it's something that I would highly recommend you check out, you implement. If you can't do one-on-one with her, grab one of her courses, listen to her podcast. I really recommend her stuff.